So for the past several months, a lot of companies, big name companies, have been slowly asking their employees to come back to the office, right? And companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and many others. So obviously, when we had the pandemic, everyone had to work at the office, right? It was just a more convenient way to do that. But as we get further and further away from the pandemic, companies are starting to say like, all right, we need to come back to the office, especially when you got inflation, you got people are expecting the economy not to do so well. So companies are like, you know what, we feel like people are more productive. But as we get further and further away from the pandemic, companies are saying, all right, you know what, let's come back to office at least 2, maybe 3 times a week, right? They don't want to just shock the system and say let's do 5 days a week, because a lot of people obviously wouldn't be comfortable with that. So what they did was like, let's say, you know what, let's just do 2-3 days a week and then slowly move to that 5 day a week. And then so people can get used to it. But for a lot of people, they're not even they don't even want to do that, right? They love the hybrid model. Some want to just work there permanently, depending on who you are. And I mean, there's a lot of people that have gone back to the office full time. But there's a lot that have said, you know what, I like working remotely. I feel more productive. I get a lot of things done. I don't see any need to come to the office, at least 3 times a week. So what's going on is like now you have companies saying, you know what, forcing them to do it, right? They say, all right, there's going to be consequences if you don't. And in particular, you have the Amazon CEO, Andy Jassy, saying, you know what, if you don't come to the office, the required time, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out for you. So he's been given that. And that's a statement that he said is probably not going to work out for you if you don't come to the office, at least 3 times a week. And whatever that means, I guess, I'm sure it's not a good thing. But a lot of people are like, they don't really care. Like they're willing to say, you know what, if you don't offer this hybrid model or you don't offer this work from home, they're willing to go find another job. And maybe that's what these companies want, right? Because we're going through a lot of layoffs, and when it comes to layoffs, companies have to at least let ahead of time if they're going to do layoffs. But this could be another way that they force layoffs by saying, all right, you know what, come to the office. And they know there's going to be a lot of people that don't want to do that. So what they're trying to do is maybe have them, people that don't want to come to the office, have them just leave the company without having to lay them off. I mean, that's just something else. I mean, who knows? That could be the case. But a lot of people are arguing that it's more productive. They feel more productive working from home, and there's companies that said, you know what, you're more productive at the office. And based on studies, like there's studies that would make both arguments. Like depending on which article you're reading, they'll say there's studies that show employees are more productive in the office. And then if you're looking on the other side, they'll say no, employees are more productive or less productive at home and more productive at the office, being able to be around their coworkers, around their peers, and collaborating. So depending on which side which side of your bias is, depending on who you are, you can find a study that backs up your argument. But it's just funny to see the Amazon CEO talking about if you don't come back to work, it's probably not going to work out for you, whatever that means. So let's just get into the argument, have an idea of what he's talking about. So it says, all right, so Amazon CEO Andy Jassy told company employees who defy his edict to return to the office for at least 3 days a week that it's probably not going to work out for you. Jassy made the comments during meetings earlier this month, during which he expressed frustration over the fact that some employees were not taking the return to office mandate seriously, according to the news site Insider, which obtained a recording of the CEO's comment. So like I said, these companies have been offering if you can come at least 2-3 times a week. I guess it was optional, it's optional, but they kind of want to make sure that you get to the office. But I guess what a lot of employees are doing is they're not taking it serious, right? They're just saying, you know what, I'm just going to stay at home, right? So now you see a lot of these CEOs, these companies saying, you know what, now we need to start forcing it or need to start mandating it that you come to the office at least 3 days a week. So it says during the meeting, which is known in internal Amazon lingo as a fishbowl meeting, Jassy declined to share data that motivated his decision to require employees to return to the office. The CEO told the charges it was a judgment call. Employees were unhappy with the decision, were invited to seek employment elsewhere. Jassy reported, "It's past the time to disagree and commit," he said. And if you can't disagree. If you can't disagree and commit, I understand that. I also understand that, but it's probably not going to work out for you at Amazon because we are not going back to the office. We are going back to the office at least 3 days a week, and it's not right for all of our teammates to be in there 3 days a week, and the people that refuse to do so, the 55-year-old Jassy said. So basically, there's people that are working at the office, and it's not. I guess he find it's not fair that they're coming to the office and others aren't. So, I can understand that. So it said Jassy told his employees that he spoke to scores of CEOs and that virtually all of them preferred having their employees back in the office. So obviously you're talking about CEOs of all different types of companies, and they're all come to this conclusion, right? Now you can come up with reasons for why they're doing it, whether it's because of productivity or maybe because you have these commercial buildings that are empty and they want to get them filled. Whatever reason, I mean, they have their own reasons for that. Regardless of what it is, they want people back in the office. So it says last month, Amazon confirmed that it was asking some corporate workers to relocate to other cities as part of its return to office policy. Amazon employees who refused to relocate near the main offices of their teams were told that they either had to find a new job or internally or leave the company through a voluntary resignation. And that's the thing, like for a lot of people during the pandemic, and when people found out they can work from home, what a lot of people did was like they said, all right, you know what, if you live, let's say you live closer to the city where it was more expensive, and then now you can work from home, what people would do is that they would move further away from the city in the suburbs and find a bigger house, less expensive house, and they would work from home from there. But as now companies are saying move back, come back to the office, it's hard for them to say, you know what, all right, I just purchased a house all the way over here. It's hard for me to then sell that house and then buy a house closer to the city or where they work. So obviously that's not gonna work, especially when you got interest rates, home prices are more expensive. So that's gonna be a decision a lot of people have to make, whether in regards to if they want to go back and work at the office or not. I'm sure if they're mandating that, then they're gonna have the decision to make. So it says, all right, so in March, around 30,000 workers signed a petition begging Jassy to cancel his directive that most employees work on site at least 3 days per week. The return to office plan took effect on May 1st. In February, Jassy said that the company made its decision to bring workers back after observing that worked during the pandemic. He said that they concluded employees tended to be more engaged in person and collaborate more easily. Earlier this year, Amazon, which employs about 1.5 million, announced that it was laying off 27,000 workers. So like I said, whether they're doing this because they feel that people are more productive, or maybe they're trying to have people voluntarily resign, who knows? But what they want is they want people back in the office. And for me, it's like when I used to work at a corporate office, obviously like no one likes, the things that go on in there, right? There's so many things that you dislike. Maybe you work for a company that you do like, but a lot of people tend to work at these companies. They really don't like them, so right? They're unhappy with where they work. And the way I looked at it was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the rules or how they're conducting the business. But that's not my company. It's not my business, right? I just work there, so I had two options. I could either deal with it or I could just leave, right? Me being that person back there when I was younger, I was just like, all right, I would just leave. Like, I just go find something else. That was just me. But not everyone is me, and everyone has different responsibilities. Everybody has different priorities. And I know everyone can't, make decisions right off, the hand. Like it's just, and especially, and I can understand that. It's like everyone has decisions to make for himself. So, but for me, it's just like, that's their company. They're going to make decisions, and whether you like it or not, it's going to get done. So it's just a lot of people have to figure that out, like what they want to do, like, and do what's best for them, right? If you don't want to work at the office, then you're probably going to have to find another job that allows you to do that. So, it's gonna be interesting to see what they're doing, and to see that he comes up with this comment where it says like it's probably not gonna work out for you. And he probably means that it's just it's probably not gonna work out for you here. Like you might want to find another job. So it's just interesting to see that. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you got any comments or questions, make sure to leave it down below. Hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so you guys take care and have a good one. Later.